2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Ladies and gentlemen, ankle candy. Cover their ankles. It's a real epidemic out there, folks. I'm Matt Phillips of Pigskin Dynasty, your podcast for all things Dynasty Fantasy Football with a sprinkle, just a sprinkle of sports cock. Alongside me, as always, is the Aaron Paul lookalike from Breaking Bad, the unofficial fantasy guru, Scott Boiler.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to buzz my head off. So
you guys need to buzz your head
You can really see that similarity.
I know, you buzz your head out. Gatorade me, bitch! Alright?
You didn't get the pause. Gatorade me, bitch!
Anyways, last two episodes, guys, we talked about the fantasy relevant players of the first 3 rounds. We're not going to go into the later rounds because it's kind of like shooting a dart at a board and maybe one of them sticks. We're going to go do a little mock draft. We're doing a 12-team mock draft since most leagues are based off 12 teams. So Scott's going to do the odd, I'm going to do the even. So we're going to just continue this off and do a little discussion why we think this is going to go there. So Scott, you're the first overall pick. Obviously, this is pretty easy.
I have the easiest choice here.
Yeah.
Obviously, if I own this pick, I'm going to let the clock run down. I'm going to wait for a Godfather type offer, like 7 first-round picks. Obviously, that's likely not going to happen. I'm being a little over-dramatic here. But, just wait and see if somebody offers you something that's absolutely ridiculous. I'm sure you've gotten a crap ton of absolutely ridiculous offers already. Ultimately, if you don't take any of the offers, Saquon Barkley is a pick. Clear-cut 101. It's never been this easy, in my opinion.
Yes. Anyways, okay, so I got the second overall pick. Now, I would have said Geis, obviously, when we first come into this pick. Now, Geis falls down. All right, Rashad Penny comes out of nowhere, gets drafted in the first round. So a lot of people leaning to Rashad Penny. I look at Rashad Penny, he has a great talent. Weak offensive line. On offense, that kind of scares me. So I'm not going to pick him one over them two. I'm going from situation. I'm going Ronald Jones, running back out of Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's in a great situation. They have a great passing offense. There's no competition out there in Tampa Bay. Chris Rogers is the backup. He's been a backup for 3 years on 3 different teams. So I definitely think he has all systems go for Ronald Jones for the second overall pick.
Stunned. Ronald Jones.
Yes.
That's, in my opinion, it's a little bit of a reach there.
Huh?
No? Okay. On to the next pick. For me, this is also pretty easy. I'm gonna go with Darius Geis at 103. He was a clear-cut 102. I'm getting a steal here, I feel, at 103. The talent's still there. He's still a player we think he is. Just because he falls in a draft doesn't necessarily mean, he should fall in our rookie drafts. He did land in a good situation. I do think Chris Thompson might limit some of his passing game upside, but ultimately I think talent will win out. And to me, he is the clear-cut number 2 best talent, second best talented running back in this class. Geis 103. You're on the clock with 104, Matt.
All right, 104. So I originally was going to draft this guy. I have the 1.04 pick in my draft. I was all for this guy, Rashad Penny. Do I think he's going to be up there in those people's mocks? No. I think he's going to get drafted a lot earlier. But 1.04, Rashad Penny, running back out of Seattle Seahawks. He has nothing there. He has a lot of opportunities to get a lot of points. I think he has a chance to be kind of like the sleeper running back. Might have a chance to beat Saquon Barkley in terms of the best running back.
Are you considering anybody else with this pick, or is it pretty locked and loaded?
I would consider Sony Michel, but one thing about Sony Michel is the Patriots are very meticulous with the running backs. Dion Lewis was the stud, but it took him until week 6 to really kind of get going. Bill Belichick's really meticulous with his running backs. Plus, you have Rex Burkhead, James White, Mike Gillislee. So I just don't know how they're going to use him. I think they're going to use him like Dion Lewis, but I just don't know. But I would consider Sony Michel this 4th overall pick. But for right now, I'm going to Rashad Penny.
At 105, I have a clear-cut value on the board right here. I think he's my 3rd best player in this draft. I'm going to go with Nick Chubb with the Cleveland Browns. I think he landed in a good situation. I do think his first year production might be tampered because of Carlos Hyde and Duke Johnson being there already. But to me, sitting at 101 Barkley, 103 with Geis, and 105 with Chubb, those are my first 3 players. So to get them at those values, I think those are basically steals. And at this point, I'm not really considering anybody else. Maybe a trade down if I got an offer that was worth it. But Nick Chubb, 105.
All right, so for 6th overall pick, I'm picking the first receiver. I think DJ Moore out of the Panthers. It would be perfect in the run 6-6 range, especially if a team have a lot of that's good running back depth. I think this would be a perfect opportunity to draft DJ Moore.
Right.
He plays in a good offense. Cam Newton's a pretty good quarterback. He has a chance to kind of get a lot of catches. Plus, he's not the number one guy. He doesn't have to be the number one guy. He has a chance to get that number 2 coverage. So I think he can explode, kind of what Juju Smith-Schuster did out of Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay. At 106, DJ Moore's off the board. He's borderline number 1 receiver with me. Christian Kirk's in consideration here. Kerryon Johnson's in consideration here. Sony Michel's in consideration here for me. Ultimately, at the 107, I'm going to go with Kerryon Johnson with the Lions. I think it's just the best situation. He's that 220 plus pound back, can catch the ball in the backfield. He's tied to a good offense. Once again, the year 1 production might be a little bit limited because LeGarrette Blount can take touchdown work. Theo Riddick and Amir Abdullah, who's still on the team, can take some of the passing game work. But ultimately, talent wins out. Kerryon Johnson I have as the 107.
108, just right now. I'm assuming you have the 108 pick. You either got it from a trade or you have a team that has pretty good depth and you did pretty good into the playoffs and you just got the 1 point. So this is where I'm comfortable picking Sony Michel. I think he has a lot of potential to become that breakthrough back, but then be hesitant. It's also the Patriots running backs. You just don't know. But in terms of this, I am comfortable in drafting Sony Michel.
Yep, Sony Michel, absolutely. I was sitting here hoping you'd let him fall because Sony Michel would have been my pick. I like the pedigree. I like the player. I like the two-way ability. Ultimately, 109, he's not on the board. So my pick at 109 is Christian Kirk. I think he is a pretty clear value here at this point on the board. I'm also considering maybe Courtland Sutton, but I understand that the year 1 production for Courtland Sutton isn't necessarily going to be there. Christian Kirk, I think, has more opportunities. Plus, he's going to be tied to Josh Rosen in the future, and playing in a dome with Arizona, I think that's just a really good situation for Christian Kirk to be in. So Kirk's my pick at 109. You're back on the clock with 110.
110. So going to the receiver, I think Calvin Ridley. We all talked about last episode how much we love the situation. Opposite of Julio Jones. Julio Jones obviously can get his coverage, so I think Calvin Ridley has a chance to maybe break that 1,000-yard mark. So I think Calvin Ridley, especially at the 110, you're probably a really good team, so you don't really need a running back. You don't really need a tight end. It's probably too early to draft a tight end at this point, especially the way the tight ends got drafted. So I think Calvin Ridley is perfect for the 1.10.
Okay, at 111, no streaming value to me. He's top 5, top 6 player for me, and the landing spot is just there for him. Royce Freeman for the Denver Broncos. He's going to compete day 1. Could be the starting running back week 1 of the season. I think ultimately Booker will win the job starting out, but I do think Royce Freeman will take over at some point in the year. So to get him at 111, I think you'll have a running back 2 for your team by week 8, 9 of the season, and he'll be locked and loaded. 6 foot, 200, almost 230 pounds, and sub 7'3" cone, and can catch the ball in the backfield. Just a total beast, total 3-down back, and I think they're actually going to use him this year. 112, let's hear it.
112. Forgive me, have you picked Courtland Sutton yet?
I have not. I wanted to. I just think the situation.
Well, I think this is a perfect situation. The last pick of the first round, maybe early second round, in that range of Courtland Sutton. We talked about, he's not in an ideal situation right now, but he has the potential, especially with his stature and his physical prowess. I think Courtland Sutton has a chance to really be a stud.
Right.
Obviously, you're drafting this guy, you're not going to start him right away.
Right.
Probably most of these receivers aren't going to start right away. But I think Courtland Sutton.
He was my wide receiver 1 going into the draft, given the situation and where some of the other receivers were going.
We talked about
it was never a wide gap for me.
We talked about this.
Yeah, we talked about this.
We're loving situation over talent, so just follow the situation.
Right. And if you do invest, that's fine. I think there could be a secondary buy window where instead of paying 112, you could pay a mid to late second round pick, a year from now. And I don't project him to do a whole lot his rookie year, given that roster and where the team's at right now.
Before the mock, before we say our goodbyes, say our adioses, let's just talk about the quarterbacks. Where do you think the quarterbacks will go in most of these fantasy drafts? What do you feel?
They're in the conversation with the next pick at 201. I think.
What do you think? That's more Baker Mayfield, or do you think that's more Sam Darnold?
I think it's personal choice. For me, I think Baker Mayfield probably has a higher ceiling given he has a little bit more rushing ability and better pieces around him. But really, I think instead of being the first guy to take a quarterback, I would rather slide back or have a later pick and be one of the last guys. Because honestly, all 5 of them I think have really good landing spots, and I'd be absolutely okay with any 5 of them if I'm in the market for a quarterback. My favorite is Josh Rosen, and I also think that you can get him later. He's not going to have to
Probably
be
get
the
him
first.
some like late.
I think he could be the fourth quarterback that you pick, or third quarterback that you pick, and he doesn't have to be that first quarterback.
Well, let me ask you a question, official fantasy guru. Everyone strives to find the next Kamara. Most people got him in the second round, and you kind of blew it up. Now you could probably trade him for a high first round pick. Name a player that wasn't mentioned into the first round mock. What you think has Alvin Kamara potential in terms of you drafting in the second and third round?
Okay, Alvin Kamara type potential, second and third round. My initial response was going to be Royce Freeman. However, I just took him off the board. After Royce Freeman, I see a drop off, but the Alvin Kamara type player I see in this class, I also have comparisons to him with David Johnson, is Kalen Ballage. Going to Miami, he's going to be stuck behind Kenny Drake for a little bit, but physically, he's there. He can catch the ball. He offers all the stuff physically to be the Kamara, David Johnson type player of this draft class. Now, if he gets that opportunity, if he can do it, that's yet to be seen, but he's the physically talented player where he could be that type of guy.
I like it. I like it a lot. So, but anyways, guys, that was our first round mock. Let us know what you think. Don't forget to follow us on social media: Instagram, Twitter at MPhillipsMCP.
At Scott Euler, Oyler, at Scott Euler 17.
Don't forget to follow the show at Dynasty Pigskins. Don't forget to tweet us Ankle Candy on the show. I like Ankle Candy every day. I'm wearing my hamburger socks as right now. Other than that, guys, have you subscribed yet? Make sure you press like. Subscribe to us. Other than that, guys be good. Guys be safe. Guys have good drafting.